47 species had brought their killing machines to the Apex Conclave. Ships the size of cities docked at the orbital station, each one carrying creatures designed in laboratories, grown in vats, and programmed for destruction. The Manta delegation required an entire cargo bay for their Razorwing. The collective needed specialized atmospheric chambers for their Swarm Hunter. The Valorans brought water tanks that could hold an ocean. The human shuttle was small. When it opened, the gathered delegates expected containment fields, suppression systems, maybe a cage of some kind. Instead, a woman walked out. Beside her, moving with the quiet grace of something that had never needed to rush, was a tiger. High Arbiter Thessan watched from the observation deck, his amphibian face twisted in confusion. 300 years he had judged Apex companions at these summits. He had seen gene-spliced nightmares with redundant hearts and acid blood. He had witnessed swarms that could strip a planet bare. He had evaluated creatures built to survive in vacuum, in fire, in crushing gravity. He had never seen someone bring a pet doctor. Amara Okonkwo walked through the docking corridor with Shira patting softly at her side. The tiger wore no collar, no restraints, no neural inhibitor. She simply walked, her amber eyes taking in everything, her muscles rippling beneath orange and black fur. The other delegates kept their distance. Not from fear, more from uncertainty. Where were the containment protocols? Where were the handler teams with shock prods and emergency sedatives? A mantid scientist named Crixtal approached first. Her compound eyes studied the tiger with professional interest. Your Apex companion. Where is its control interface? She does not have one, Amara said. Its aggression limiters? None. Its behavioral programming. Amara smiled. 4 billion years of evolution. That is her programming. Crixtal's mandibles clicked in confusion. She stepped back and made notes on her datapad. The formal reception hall was designed to intimidate. Holographic displays showed each species' Apex companion in action. The Razorwing tearing through simulated enemies. The Swarm Hunter consuming a test subject in seconds. The Depth Crusher breaking metal in its massive jaws. High Arbiter Thessan approached the human delegation with a smile that showed too many teeth. Dr. Okonkwo, we are honored that humanity has finally chosen to participate in the summit. Though I must confess some confusion about your entry. Shira, Amara said. Her name is Shira. Yes. Charming. Thessan consulted his datapad. I do not seem to have her specifications. Genetic modification history? Enhancement protocols? Combat optimisation paramètres. She has none. The Arbiter's smile faltered. I am sorry. Shira is a Bengal tiger. She was born in the wild, orphaned by poachers, and raised at a conservation facility. She has no modifications, no enhancements. She is exactly what Earth made her. Around them, delegates had stopped their conversations. They were listening now. You brought an unmodified animal to the Apex Conclave. Thessan's voice carried genuine disbelief. This is a summit for the greatest bioengineered predators in the galaxy. Creatures that represent the peak of each species' scientific achievement. We did not engineer Shira, Amara said. We did not need to. Earth did that for us. Commander Yusuf Bashir stepped forward. He was a tall man with scars on his hands from years of wildlife work. With respect, Arbiter, I think you're missing the point. Every creature here was built, designed, created to be the ultimate predator. He looked at Shira. The tiger had settled onto the floor, her tail curling around her body. She looked almost lazy. Almost. Shira was not created, Bashir continued. She is the result of 4 billion years of trial and error. Every ancestor that was not fast enough died. Every ancestor that was not strong enough died. Every ancestor that was not smart enough died. What you see is what survived. Thessan's smile had disappeared entirely. Fascinating history lesson, Commander. But this summit measures capability, not ancestry. Your tiger will be evaluated alongside creatures designed for peak performance. We look forward to it, Amara said. The crowd parted as the human delegation moved toward their assigned quarters. Shira walked beside Amara, ignoring the stares, the whispers, the pointing limbs and tentacles. Then something happened that made everyone stop. The manted razorwing was being transported through a nearby corridor. 12 meters of chitin and blade limbs. It was contained behind 3 layers of suppression fields. Neural inhibitors blinked at the base of its skull. It was the most dangerous engineered predator at the summit. When it passed the human delegation, it stopped. The razorwing's compound eyes locked onto Shira. For a long moment, the two apex predators regarded each other. The engineered nightmare, bristling with weapons and armor. The natural tiger, soft-furred and seemingly relaxed. Shira yawned. Her mouth opened wide, exposing teeth that evolution had spent millions of years perfecting. Then she closed her eyes and laid her head on her paws. The razorwing began to make a sound, a high-pitched whine that its handlers had never heard before. They checked their instruments frantically, trying to understand what was happening. Crixtal stared at her datapad. Her mandibles clicked in something that might have been disbelief. "What is it?" Fesson demanded. "The razorwing," Crixtal said slowly. "It is afraid." The corridor fell silent. Everyone looked at the tiger sleeping peacefully on the floor and wondered what Earth had really sent them. The evaluation chamber stretched half a kilometer in every direction. Floating drones filled the air, each one carrying sensors designed to measure every possible metric of predator performance. Bite force, reaction time, sensory range, killing efficiency. Shira sat in the middle of the chamber, cleaning her paw. The lead evaluator, a Valoran named Tessic, studied his instruments with growing frustration. "The readings must be wrong. Run the calibration sequence again." "We have run it 4 times," his assistant said. "The numbers are accurate." Tessic looked at the holographic display, showing Shira's baseline metrics. Her bite force was impressive by primitive standards, but fell far short of engineered maximums. Her speed was adequate. Her sensory capabilities were merely biological. "This creature is unremarkable," Tessic announced to the observation gallery, where delegates from across the galaxy had gathered to watch. "Its physical specifications fall within standard parameters for an unmodified carbon-based predator. I fail to see why humanity believes this qualifies for the Apex Conclave." In the gallery, Dr. Amara Okonkwo said nothing. She simply watched. "We will proceed with the behavioral assessment," Tessic continued. "Release the evaluation drones." A dozen small machines emerged from the chamber walls. They were designed to approach Apex companions from multiple angles, testing reaction times and threat response. Simple programming, predictable patterns. The drones moved towards Shira in a standard formation. The tiger did not react. "Subject shows no response to approaching stimuli," Tessic noted. "Possibly defective sensory systems," or Shira moved. She did not move toward the drones. She moved to a position 3 meters to her left and slightly forward. Then she sat down again. The drones continued their approach toward her original position. 3 seconds later, they initiated their programmed threat simulation. Small electrical charges designed to test pain response. They shocked empty air. Tessic stared at his instruments. How did it know? The drones had not initiated their attack sequence. There was no signal for the creature to detect. In the gallery, Crixtal leaned forward. She had been watching closely. "Play that back. Slow it down." The holographic display rewound. Frame by frame, they watched the tiger's eyes. She had been tracking the drones since they emerged, not their positions, their intent. She read their approach vectors. Crixtal said slowly. She calculated where they would be and moved before they arrived. "That is not reaction. That is prediction." "Impossible," Tessic said. "Prediction requires processing of threat data. This creature has no neural enhancement, no computational. She does not need computation," Amara said from the gallery. Her voice was calm. "She has instinct. Millions of years of hunting prey that was also trying to survive. Her ancestors learned to read the future in the movement of their targets. The ones who could not predict died. Shira is descended from the ones who could." The evaluation continued. More drones, more tests. Each time, Shira responded to threats before they fully developed. She did not process information. She felt it. Then came the hunting simulation that a holographic prey animal materialized in the chamber. It was designed to test pursuit behavior. Standard metrics: chase speed, stamina, cornering ability. The other Apex companions at the summit had attacked immediately. The swarm hunter flooded the chamber in seconds. The Razorwing struck within milliseconds of prey detection. The Depth Crusher lunged with enough force to crack the simulation floor. Shira did nothing. The prey animal moved through the chamber. Running, stopping, running again. Classic evasion patterns. Shira watched. Minutes passed. The delegates in the gallery grew restless. High Arbiter Thesson smiled. It appears your natural predator lacks the basic hunting drive. Perhaps 4 billion years of evolution produced something rather disappointing after. The tiger moved. It happened so fast that the recording systems struggled to capture it. One moment Shira was motionless. The next, she was on the other side of the chamber with the holographic prey pinned beneath her. She had not chased it. She had waited at the exact point where the prey would eventually run. 20 minutes of patience, and the kill took less than a second. The chamber fell silent. Crixtal approached Dr. Okonkwo after the evaluation ended. Her compound eyes held something that might have been respect. Your beast. It was not waiting for the optimal moment. No, Amara agreed. It was waiting for the prey to believe it was safe. Yes. Crixtal's mandibles clicked softly. On my world, we spent 3 centuries engineering the Razorwing. We gave it every advantage science could provide. Speed, armor, weapons. We made it impossible to escape. She looked at Shira, who had returned to cleaning her paws as if the entire demonstration had been a minor interruption. Your Earth, Crixtal continued, made something different, something that does not need to be inescapable, because by the time the prey knows it is being hunted, the hunt is already over. Amara smiled. Now you understand. No, Crixtal said. I did not understand at all, and that is what frightens me. In the observation gallery, High Arbiter Thessan was reviewing the evaluation footage. His face had lost its earlier smugness. He watched the tiger wait, and wait, and wait. Then he watched it kill. He made a note on his datapad. It said only one word: dangerous. The diplomatic reception filled the station's observation dome with species from across the galaxy. Delegates mingled beneath a ceiling of stars, discussing trade agreements and territorial disputes, while their apex companions remained in nearby containment. That Earth's delegation had been given a small space near the service corridors. A deliberate insult. High Arbiter Thessan wanted everyone to see where he believed humans belonged. Amara did not seem to notice. She stood with Commander Bashir, watching Shira rest near their feet. The tiger attracted stares from passing delegates. Some curious, some dismissive, a few genuinely nervous. The evaluation results have been circulating, Bashir said quietly. The other delegations are talking. Let them talk. Thessan's voice cut through the crowd. He had positioned himself at the center of the dome, addressing a group of senior delegates. I must raise a formal concern about humanity's participation in this summit. The crowd quieted. Delegates turned to watch. The Apex Conclave exists to showcase the pinnacle of biological engineering, Thessan continued. Each species brings the result of centuries of scientific advancement. Creatures optimized for specific purposes. Predators refined through careful genetic manipulation. He gestured toward the human delegation. Earth has brought us an unmodified animal. No genetic enhancement, no behavioral programming, no technological augmentation of any kind. This suggests a species that has not yet mastered basic bioengineering. I question whether humanity has earned a place at this summit. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Several delegates nodded. Amara stepped forward. May I respond? High Arbiter? Thessan's smile was thin. Of course. We value all perspectives, however primitive. Amara walked to the center of the dome. Shira rose and followed her, padding silently across the polished floor. You are right, Amara said. We did not engineer Shira. We did not grow her in a laboratory or program her behavior or enhance her genetics. Do you know why? She paused, looking around at the assembled delegates. Because we did not need to. Amara raised her hand. A holographic display activated behind her, showing a blue and green planet wrapped in white clouds. This is Earth, my homeworld. The Galactic Survey classifies it as a Category 7 environment. Do you know what that means? Silence. It means our atmosphere is corrosive. Our primary star bombards the surface with radiation. Liquid water exists alongside crushing pressures and temperature extremes that would kill most species instantly. It means that by galactic standards, Earth is a death world. The delegates shifted uncomfortably. On Earth, nothing was designed, Amara continued. Everything earned its place through survival. For billion years of relentless competition, every creature that exists today is the descendant of billions who died. The weak died. The slow died. The stupid died. What remains is what survived. She looked at Shira. The tiger sat beside her, amber eyes scanning the crowd with patient attention. The tiger is not our creation. She is Earth's creation, a product of endless generations fighting to survive in conditions that would destroy anything you could build in a laboratory. You engineered your apex predators. Earth evolved hers. And evolution has had 4 billion years more practice than your scientists. Commander Bashir spoke up. I spent 15 years as a wildlife ranger in India, tracking tigers through jungle so dense you could not see 2 meters ahead. Do you know what I learned? He held up his scarred hands. I learned that when you think you are hunting a tiger, you are wrong. The tiger is hunting you. It has been hunting you since you entered its territory. It knows where you are, where you have been, where you're going. And it will wait for the perfect moment. Not the optimal moment. The perfect moment, when you have forgotten to be afraid. A delegate from the collective spoke, its voice a harmony of thousands of linked organisms. We propose a demonstration. Our swarm hunter against Earth's tiger. Not combat. A hunt. Let us see which apex philosophy produces superior results. Thesson's smile widened. An excellent suggestion. What say you, Dr. Okonkwo? Amara considered for a moment. We accept, but with one modification. Name it. Your swarm hunts through numbers and coordination. Shira hunts through patience and terror. Give us a prey that can feel fear. Then you will understand the difference. Thesson laughed. Fear? You think fear matters in a hunt. I think fear is the oldest weapon on Earth, Amara said. Older than teeth. Older than claws. We have been using it since before we climbed down from the trees. Your creatures were designed to kill. Ours were designed to terrify and then kill. The dome fell silent. Shira yawned, exposing teeth that had ended 10,000 hunts across 10,000 generations. Then she settled back to the floor and closed her eyes. I in the crowd. Crixtal watched with growing unease. She had seen the evaluation footage. She had studied the tiger's impossible patience. And now she was beginning to understand something that made her compound eyes widen with recognition. The humans had not brought a weapon to the summit. They had brought a nightmare. The arena stretched 3 kilometers across, filled with bioluminescent plants and artificial rivers that glowed purple under the station's lights. Camera drones filled the air like metal insects, broadcasting to thousands of observers across the galaxy. HT the northern edge, the collective swarm hunter waited in its containment field. Thousands of organisms linked by a shared consciousness, each one a weapon, all of them coordinated into a single hunting entity. HT the southern edge, Shira sat beside Dr. Okonkwo. Are you certain about this? Commander Bashir asked quietly. Amara nodded. She knows what to do. She has always known. High Arbiter Thesson's voice echoed through the arena. The rules are simple. A prey animal will be released into the environment. Both apex companions will hunt it. The first to make the kill demonstrates superior predator capability. There is no time limit. The prey materialized at the arena's center. It was a gene-crafted herbivore, designed specifically to test apex predators. Enhanced senses, superior speed, and most importantly, the capacity for fear. The containment fields dropped. The swarm hunter moved immediately. Thousands of organisms spread through the jungle in an expanding wave of sensory awareness. They covered ground like water, flowing around obstacles, filling every gap. Within 2 minutes, they had located the prey. The hunt began. The prey ran. It was fast, faster than anything natural should be. But the swarm was everywhere. It could not run in any direction without encountering part of the collective's consciousness. Every escape route closed. Every hiding spot discovered. In the observation gallery, delegates nodded approvingly. This was what apex engineering looked like. Inescapable. Relentless. Perfect. "Where is the tiger?" someone asked. The camera drone searched. They found Shira in a patch of shadow near the arena's center. She had not moved from her starting position. She lay with her eyes half closed, breathing slowly. Thesson laughed. "It appears Earth's champion has declined to participate." Amara said nothing. She watched the screens with quiet attention. The swarm hunter cornered the prey near a cluster of bioluminescent trees. The herbivore was exhausted from running. Terrified, it had nowhere left to go. The swarm closed in for the kill. Then something changed. The prey did something its creators never anticipated. Instead of surrendering to the inevitable, it ran. Not away from the swarm. Through it. Directly toward the one place the hunting organisms were not. Directly toward Shira. In the observation gallery, Crixtal stood suddenly. "No, it cannot have." The tiger moved. Every camera drone in the arena struggled to capture what happened next. Shira had been motionless for 23 minutes. Then she was across the clearing in less than a second. The prey never saw her. It was running toward safety, toward the empty space, toward escape. It ran straight into death. The kill was instant. Clean. The prey did not suffer because it never knew the end had come. One moment, it was fleeing toward hope. The next moment, it was gone. The swarm hunter flooded the area 3 seconds later. But there was nothing left to catch. The arena fell into stunned silence. Thesson stared at the replay footage. Frame by frame, he watched the tiger wait. She had positioned herself exactly where a fleeing prey would seek refuge from a pursuing threat. She had predicted the outcome before the hunt began. "That is impossible," he whispered. No biological system could calculate those variables. The prey's behavior was random. There was no way to predict. She did not calculate, Amara said softly. She knew. Earth's predators have been doing this for millions of years. They do not chase prey. They become the place where prey runs to escape something else. Crixtal's voice was hollow. The swarm hunter is designed to be inescapable. We spent 400 years perfecting its coordination. No prey has ever evaded it. Your swarm did not fail, Commander Bashir said. It performed exactly as designed. It drove the prey toward the only apparent escape route. The tiger was counting on that. In the arena, Shira had returned to grooming herself. The camera drones circled her, trying to capture some sign of aggression, of triumph, of predatory satisfaction. They found nothing. Just a cat cleaning her fur. The collective's voice spoke, thousands of organisms harmonizing in confusion. We do not understand. Our hunter was superior in every measurable way. Speed, numbers, sensory capability, coordination. How do we lose? Amara looked at the screens, showing Shira's patient face. Because you were designed to catch, she said, and she evolved to wait. Your swarm is a net. Shira is a trap. Nets can be avoided. Traps cannot, because by the time you see them, you're already inside. Thesson's amphibian face had gone pale. He looked at the tiger on the screens, then at the human delegation. What else, he asked slowly, has Earth evolved? Amara smiled. Come visit sometime, she said. We will show you the oceans, the deserts, the mountains, the swamps. Every environment on Earth has something that hunts, something that waits, something that has spent millions of years learning exactly how to kill. She paused. Shira is just one example. We have thousands more. The observation gallery was very quiet after that. Crixtal found the human delegation in their quarters 3 hours after the hunt. The mantid scientist moved with uncharacteristic hesitation, her compound eyes flickering between Dr. Okonkwo and the tiger resting near the window. May I enter? Amara gestured her inside. Of course. Crixtal settled into a chair designed for species with different bodies. Her mandibles clicked softly as she gathered her thoughts. Before my people achieved technology, she said finally, we had predators. Natural ones. They hunted us in the darkness of our high forests for millions of years. We feared them. We respected them. We built our entire civilization on the foundation of that fear. She paused. When we developed genetic engineering, the first thing we did was make them extinct. We replaced them with creatures we could control. Creatures with off switches and behavioral limiters. We thought we had conquered fear. And now, Amara asked, now I watch your tiger wait in the shadows, and I feel something I have not felt since I was a larva. Something my species tried to eliminate from our genetics. Her voice dropped. I feel prey. Commander Bashir nodded slowly. That is what Earth taught us. Fear is not a weakness. It is the oldest teacher in existence. It keeps you alive. It keeps you sharp. It reminds you that the universe is not safe. But you live with these creatures, Crixtal said. How do you function with that fear always present? Amara smiled. We do not live with fear. We live with respect. Shira is dangerous. I know that every moment I spend with her. But that danger is honest. She does not hide what she is. And because I respect her nature, we can coexist. The station's alarm shattered their conversation. Red lights flooded the corridors. Emergency broadcasts in a dozen languages overlapped into chaos. Bashir was already moving, pulling up data on his communicator. Containment breach, he said, his voice tight. The razor wing. It broke through its suppression fields. Crixtal's compound eyes widened. That is not possible. The neural inhibitors are not working. The creature is loose in the station's central hub. 3 security teams are already dead. Through the window, they could see the chaos spreading. Delegates running for evacuation points. Ships attempting to undock. And somewhere in the station's depths, a 12-meter engineered killing machine was hunting. Amara looked at Shira. The tiger was awake. Not moving, but awake. Her amber eyes tracked something beyond the walls, beyond sight. Her ears rotated, catching sounds no human could hear. She knows, Amara said quietly. Knows what? Crixtal asked. That something else is hunting. Thessen's voice crackled through the emergency channel. All delegations, remain in your quarters. Security forces are engaging the breach. Do not attempt. The transmission cut to static. Then screaming, Bashir pulled up the station schematics. The razor wing is between the central hub and the shuttle base. Evacuation is impossible without going through it. What about the other Apex companions? Crixtal asked. The Swarm Hunter, the Depth Crusher. The Swarm needs coordination time to deploy. The Depth Crusher requires water. The others are locked in containment that cannot be safely opened. Bashir shook his head. The engineered predators are useless. They were designed for specific conditions. This is chaos. Amara knelt beside Shira. The tiger's muscles were coiled beneath her fur. Ready. She wants to go, Amara said. You cannot be serious, Crixtal said. The razor wing has acid glands, blade limbs, armor plating. It was designed to kill anything organic. Your tiger has fur and teeth. She has more than that. Amara placed her hand on Shira's head. She has 4 billion years of learning how to survive the impossible. Shira rose. Her eyes never left the door. Amara, Bashir said carefully, this is not a hunting demonstration. The razor wing is actively killing. If Shira goes out there, then she does what Earth made her do. Amara opened the door. The corridor beyond was dark, emergency lighting casting long shadows. Shira moved into the darkness. She did not run. She did not stalk. She simply walked, her body low, her steps silent. Within seconds, she had vanished into the shadows as if the station had swallowed her whole. The Crixtal stared at the empty corridor. She has no tracking system, no communication link. How will she find the razor wing? She will not find it, Amara said. She will be where it goes. That is how tigers hunt. They do not chase. They anticipate. They become inevitable. The screaming in the station continued. Then, slowly it began to move. The razor wing was changing direction. It is heading toward the observation dome. Bashir reported. Thermal signatures show it pursuing a group of delegates. Amara nodded. Shira knows. How? Because that is where the prey is running. And where prey runs, a tiger waits. The station fell into terrified silence. Somewhere in the darkness, two apex predators were converging. One engineered to be the perfect weapon. One evolved to be the perfect hunter. Crickstow's mandibles clicked nervously. I designed the razor wing, she said quietly. I know every system, every capability, every weakness. And right now, watching your tiger disappear into those shadows, I am not certain which one I fear more. Amara watched the darkness where Shira had vanished. Good, she said. That means you understand. The observation dome had become a trap. 37 delegates huddled behind emergency barriers while the razor wing tore through the corridor outside. Its blade limbs carved through metal walls. Its acid spray melted doorways. Its compound eyes scanned for movement, for heat, for prey. High Arbiter Thesson crouched with the others, his earlier arrogance replaced by pure terror. The security teams are gone. The suppression weapons are not working. We are going to die here. Then the lights went out. Emergency power flickered. Red shadows danced across the dome. And in that darkness, something moved. The razor wing froze. Its sensory systems swept the corridor, detecting nothing. But something had changed. The air felt different, charged with a presence that its programming could not identify. A low sound echoed through the darkness. Not quite a growl, more like a whisper of inevitable violence. The razor wing turned. Its compound eyes searched the shadows, weapon limbs raised, acid glands ready. Shira was not there. Then she was. The tiger struck from an angle the razor wing's sensors were not designed to cover. From above, from shadows that should not have been deep enough to hide anything. She moved like gravity itself, silent and absolute. The impact drove the engineered predator into the wall. Blade limbs slashed at empty air. Acid sprayed harmlessly into darkness. The razor wing was faster, stronger, better armored. It had every advantage that 3 centuries of man-made science could provide, but it could not find its enemy. Shira was not fighting. She was hunting. She struck and vanished, appeared and disappeared. Each attack came from a different direction, a different angle, a different shadow that the razor wing could not predict. The engineered creature began to make sounds. Not the clicking communication of combat protocols. Something else. Something its creators had never programmed. Fear. In the observation dome. Delegates watched through cracked barriers. The greatest bioengineered predator in the galaxy was being dismantled by something that had never seen a laboratory. Something that had learned to kill in jungles where nothing was designed, where everything was earned. The final moment came not with violence, but with stillness. Shira appeared in front of the razor wing. Not attacking, just watching. Her amber eyes held the patience of 1,000,000 generations. The certainty of something that had never needed to be created because existence itself had already proven it worthy. The razor wing's neural systems shut down, not from damage. Its body was still functional, still capable of fighting. But somewhere in its engineered brain, something fundamental had broken. It had faced a predator that could not be predicted, could not be escaped, could not be understood. That IT had faced terror. And terror, as Earth creatures learned long ago, is the most ancient weapon of all. The creature collapsed. Its blade limbs twitched once, then went still. The most dangerous engineered predator in the galaxy had been defeated by fear itself. Shira turned and walked back toward the observation dome. She was limping. Acid burns marked her flank where one attack had found its mark. But she walked with the same quiet grace she had shown since arriving at the station. The barriers opened. Amara rushed forward, kneeling beside her tiger, checking the wounds. You impossible creature. You beautiful, impossible creature. Shira pushed her head against Amara's shoulder. Then she lay down and began cleaning her paw, utterly unconcerned with the dozens of aliens staring at her. High Arbiter Thessan approached slowly. His earlier smugness was gone. His certainty was gone. Everything he believed about apex predators had been destroyed in that dark corridor. How? He asked. How did it die? Your tiger did not strike a killing blow. The Razorwing's systems were still functional. It died of fear, Amara said simply. The Razorwing was designed to be a weapon. Weapons do not need to feel. But when it faced something it could not understand, something it could not predict, something that hunted it the way it hunted others, its neural systems could not process the experience. It felt terror for the first time in its existence. And that terror killed it. Fessan was silent for a long moment. How many of these tigers does Earth have? Amara smiled. A few thousand. But tigers are just one species. Earth has been making predators for 4 billion years. We have millions of species that hunt. Every environment, every niche, every challenge Earth faced, it answered with something that kills. Crixtal had joined them, her compound eyes fixed on Shira with something like awe. We spent centuries building the Razorwing. We thought we had created the ultimate predator. You created a weapon, Commander Bashir said. Earth created survivors. There's a difference. Fessin looked at the fallen Razorwing, then at the tiger cleaning her paws. We will need a catalog, he said quietly. A complete list of Earth's apex species. For the Galactic Council's records. Of course, Amara said. Though I should warn you, the catalog is very long. For research purposes, Amara's smile held something ancient. Something that remembered caves and campfires and the shadows beyond the light. No, she said. For warning. Dawn broke over the observation dome. Outside, stars wheeled slowly past. Inside, delegates began the long process of understanding what they had witnessed. Shira slept at Amara's feet, her amber eyes closed, her breathing slow and peaceful. She looked like nothing more than a large cat dreaming of warm places and easy prey. But the galaxy had seen what she truly was, not a weapon, not a tool, not a creation of science or engineering or design, just something that grew up in the jungle and learned to be feared,